Up, you mighty race, accomplish what you will. As we continue to look on how far we've come as an independent nation celebrating 60 years, Marcus Garvey's famous line still rings true. In fact, many mighty Jamaicans have responded to his call. They have stood up and they have led our country in achieving greatness in many areas. So it doesn't feel like mere coincidence that the Emancipendence Month also catches us celebrating this august man. More on the achievements and influences of Garvey, plus other intriguing elements inside today's show. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry, here to take you through an unforgettable 30 minutes.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, August 17. Jamaica generated $511.1 million in export earnings between January and April of this year. This is 1.3% higher than the $504.4 million earned over the corresponding period last year. In a recent press release, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, says the increase was due mainly to a 52.9% hike in the value of exports for mineral fuels. The institute also says domestic exports for the period rose by 1.4% or $438.9 million, which accounted for 85.9% of total outflows. Statin says this mainly resulted from a 43.3% increase in manufacturing industry exports. Meanwhile, import expenditure for the period increased by 34.4% to $2.34 billion because of increased spending on all subcategories of goods inflows. Imports of raw materials or intermediate goods was $717.4 million, which was 31.8% higher than the corresponding period in 2021. Total expenditure on imported fuels and lubricants grew by 48.1% or $705.1 million, and imports of consumer goods increased by 37.8% or $592 million. 600 male and female youth farmers are set to benefit from a 6-month training program in climate-smart agriculture. The initiative is being implemented by the Jamaica 4-H clubs in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. It's part of the organization's Enabling Gender-Responsive Disaster Recovery, Climate and Environmental Resilience in the Caribbean, ENGENDER project. At the program's official launch recently, Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Franklin Witter, welcomed the project.
Through this project, our young male and female farmers and fishers in select communities in Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and St. Thomas will receive training in business management and financial literacy, as well as receive business inputs to start and strengthen their farming, fisheries, and agro-processing enterprise.
Youth hydroponics farmer from St. Elizabeth, Keneal Morgan, tells us what he hopes to gain from the training.
How to adapt with climate change, so even if I'm not being affected, I can also help others who are affected in this area to better off their produce.
The island's first National Identification System, NIDS pilot enrollment site, is to be opened in 2 weeks' time. Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Floyd Green, gave that assurance on Thursday as he toured the site, which is located at the Central Sorting Office on South Camp Road in Kingston. It's the first of 5 enrollment sites expected to be in operation by October within Kingston and St. Andrew. Minister Green says installation of electrical ports, equipment testing, and the fine-tuning of infrastructure is being finalized. The card production area is already in operation and currently doing testing. Minister Green adds that he's happy that the NIDS program is moving in the right direction and will be up and running during the island's 60th independence celebration.
I think, Jamaicans must rest assured that we are taking the highest level of security precautions in the preparation of these cards and in the process that we will go through in terms of inputting the information.
The enrollment site will feature workstations designed with privacy in mind. Data collected from the sites will be stored directly to the state's primary and secondary data centers. Productive Business Solutions (PBS) is facilitating the NID solution, the full rollout of which is expected to start in 2023. Meanwhile, Minister Green says the new NIDS regulations are being finalized for public discussion. He says the regulations are to be published this week with a view to conclude public feedback by month's end. Minister Green says the regulations will be tabled after the House of Representatives resumes sittings in September. The minister also revealed that Cabinet has approved the structure of the National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA.
Now we're looking to populate a board, and we already, as you have seen, have boots on the ground. The public would be pleased to know that we have already gone through a very significant vetting process and have hired a number of people, including our card production manager who comes with JDF experience, and again, we really headhunted the best out there, and that is at every level. So we already have people who are working in vetting, we already have people who are working in IT, so we're almost ready to go.
In other news, 2 more communities now have access to government's free Wi-Fi service. Brownstown and Windsor in St. Anne are the latest to receive free public Wi-Fi as the Universal Service Fund, USF, continues its community Wi-Fi initiative. The secure internet connectivity has a range of 800 feet and can allow up to 200 residents to simultaneously log on with their smartphones or tablet devices. USF's Chief Executive Officer Daniel Dawes says the next St. Anne community that will receive free public Wi-Fi is Steertown. He says the agency is also prepared to install public access Wi-Fi hotspots that can accommodate up to 500 individuals at any one time in both Brownstown and St. Anne's Bay, which means that Brownstown will be getting another hotspot.
So, you must understand that government is not here because you like government. Government is here to work for the people. The people come first and foremost.
And finally, the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, is establishing ties with the capital city of Windhoek, Namibia, for cooperation in multiple focus areas. The development follows the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between Jamaica and Namibia to form a Jamaica-Namibia Joint Committee. The Joint Committee has entered agreements in several areas, including tourism, logistics, urban development, and diaspora cooperation. Mayor of Kingston, Senator Councillor Delroy Williams, says the establishment of ties between Kingston and Windhoek will advance engagements under the MOU and bolster initial contacts made between the cities.
We have just conferred the keys of the city of Kingston to the people of the city of Windhoek. We really look forward to a fruitful relationship between Kingston and Windhoek, and we are quite confident that this relationship will bear fruits, in fact many fruits, and that it will last for generations to come.
The KSAMC is hosting a 3-member delegation from Namibia from August 14 to 19. Kingston and Windhoek previously signed an MOU in 2019 in keeping with the KSAMC's Twinning with Cities Around the World initiative for mutual benefit. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Having brought you the news of the day, we now take a historical look at the life and work of a Jamaican political activist, publisher, orator, and so much more. The island's first national hero, a man whose works have positively impacted generations, Marcus Mosiah Garvey.
On August 17, 1887, in the quiet town of St. Anne's Bay, 50 years after emancipation, the son of a Maroon was born, one who refused to accept the injustices he observed around him as he grew up. While attending school, he developed a healthy appetite for reading, fed by his small library at home. Unable to attend high school because of financial difficulties, Garvey at age 14 became an apprentice printer for his godfather, Mr. Burroughs. 2 years later, he joined the staff of P.A. Benjamin in Kingston as a printer and quickly became a foreman. But after having joined a workers' strike at the plant, he was relieved of his job. After a brief stint at the government's printing office, he started his own paper, The Watchman. It folded because of poor financing. At an early age, Garvey began championing the cause of black redemption, leading the way for the universal freedom of the black diaspora. He became actively involved in politics, cultural organization, and the trade union movement, and developed a passion for journalism, printing, and publishing. At the age of 20, Garvey made a life-changing commitment.
I ask myself, where is the black man's government? Where is his king and his kingdom? Where is his president, his country, and ambassadors, his army, his men of big affairs?
Garvey could not find the answer, and so took on the task of helping blacks at home and abroad to create their own nation. In 1910, he joined his uncle in Costa Rica and traveled extensively throughout South and Central America, where he observed and was deeply touched by the poor conditions in which West Indian workers lived. Later, he traveled to England and continued his studies in journalism. While there, he consolidated the thoughts and philosophy that he would use to call the Negroes of the world to action. At the age of 27, 5 days after he returned from England, Marcus Mosiah Garvey founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities Imperial League. The focus of the organization was to unite all the black peoples of the world and to establish a country and government that was absolutely and uniquely their own. Garvey's movement ran into trouble with the local authorities and was rejected by the Jamaican people. Undaunted, he traveled to the United States. After visiting several states, he settled in New York. From there, Garvey established several branches of the UNIA across the country, and by 1920, the movement registered over 4 million members. At its peak, the UNIA had over 11 million registered members in 859 branches in over 30 countries. On June 27, 1919, the economic arm of Garvey's liberation movement was incorporated, the Black Star Line. This enterprise was meant to create jobs and business opportunities for millions of blacks worldwide. The business did well in the first year, but ran into financial difficulties soon afterwards. Garvey, his movement, and his philosophy ran into problems with the United States authorities. He was jailed and deported to Jamaica. Garvey returned to Jamaica to a tumultuous welcome by a large and enthusiastic crowd. He wasted no time in organizing a political movement. He founded the People's Political Party in 1929, the first modern political party in Jamaica. Perhaps Garvey's most outstanding contribution in the quest for the universal emancipation of the black race was his lifelong, unrelenting efforts to unite and uplift the black race through a program of self-reliance and education. The thoughts and ideas of Marcus Garvey evolved into a social, political, spiritual, and economic blueprint for the successful development of a black nation. He advocated Africa for the Africans. He encouraged blacks to be proud of themselves and of their history, and for them to be self-reliant and strong. In shaping the political destiny of the black nation, the Declaration of the Rights of the Negro Peoples of the World, adopted at the First International Convention of Negro Peoples held during the month of August 1920 in New York, was a radical document. As a legal instrument, it ranked alongside the Magna Carta and the United States Constitution in that it affirmed and demanded redress for the injustices heaped upon a despised and rejected people by the entire world. The convention was attended by over 25,000 members and delegates from all over the world, and demonstrated the power and reach of Garvey's movement. But most of all, it signaled the growing solidarity of the Negro peoples of the world. Garvey called for the emancipation of the mind at the 6th Negro Convention in 1929, held at Edelweiss Park in Kingston. He declared then that after the physical emancipation of slaves, the UNIA should create a second emancipation, an emancipation of the minds and thoughts of the 400 million Negroes of the world. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was not able to totally emancipate his people from their social, economic, and political bonds in his lifetime, but he certainly planted the seeds of black liberation and redemption across the globe, and the world has not been the same since.
Marcus Garvey words come to pass.
Hey you, yes you, let's go on a public sector journey together. Check your rear view and let's hit the gas. We all rely on public sector workers, from hospitals and care workers to schools, where our children get the education to fulfill their dreams, and in emergency situations when we're most in need. In turn, public sector workers are paid by us. The current compensation structure in the public sector is complex, inconsistent, and inequitable. That's about to change. Welcome to the new compensation system. The new system is simple and easily understood. It's consistent, enabling equitable application and transparency across the public sector. It will reward high performance, and it's sustainable. The government of Jamaica is committed to investing in its people and building a better public sector.
One area that Garvey's influence is felt strongly is the Rastafari movement. This religion has become intertwined in the Jamaican cultural landscape, having gained traction and popularity through many of our notable figures and other cultural movements like our music. Today we look at one village in rural Jamaica that's keeping that culture alive.
It's referred to as Jamaica's second city, and it's one of the island's top tourism destinations. Montego Bay, St. James, with its vibrant hip strip, white sandy beaches, and captivating resort life that continues to beckon to persons outside the region, is a beautiful place. But even more beautiful are some of the hidden treasures in the parish. In today's Round the Bend, we experience some of the most authentic and fulfilling experiences you can imagine. Walk with me. After treading the rocky riverbed of the Montego River, following the footpath on its bank, you will be escorted to a hidden gem, the Rastafari Indigenous Village. This 10-year-old village, which is tucked away in Portobello, Montego Bay, was established by a group of Rastafarians who have come together to preserve their culture and introduce visitors to their way of life and teachings.
Our philosophy is one of harmony, and music shows you clearly that difference is not something that can stop you from being harmonious. Why? Because everyone plays a different beat, everyone makes a different sound, but still it comes together to make one music. And that's the message of Rastafari, that even though we're from different places, different skin tone, different eye colors, we can celebrate these differences instead of allowing them to separate us, so we can create one beautiful song for the human experience and the planet.
During this time, visitors are served fresh fruits in bamboo, and they can also get a chance to learn the art of traditional drumming. After relishing the pulsating tunes of the drums, visitors are then escorted to the various stations in the village, where they will be further immersed in the Rastafari culture.
You eat from a calabash, you feel like you're a little pepped up, you know?
We use a combination of seeds and stones, coconut shells to make all these jewelry. But this is where you get a chance to get something natural for yourself, family, and friends. If you want to make anything, like earrings, we have the sticks. You put the beats on and we put the hook on for you. If you see anything that you want to get, then it's there, you know. No charge for touching, only if you hold it too long.
This is what I do. I may drum. But this is something, if you don't love it, you're not going to do it. Yeah, because you see what I was just doing? Just digging. Just digging. But you cannot afford to make no mistake. This fell apart, but this drop on your finger. You know what it's like. Some of my fingers, they are not straight. They are broken bones, cracked bones, and I lose my nails sometimes. But because I love what I do, pain is to me like nothing.
So this is where we make natural soaps with the material around us. And coconut oil is the main oil in this process. We put the coconut oil with sodium hydroxide dissolved in water. And that's the basic soap formula. Different measurements are used. We incorporate some soaps, fragrance oils, essential oils as well. You can open and you can smell.
We do not use water in our juices. We only use sugarcane in our juices, yeah? You know what this is?
Ginger.
Ginger. So in all of our juices, we have sugarcane and ginger. If you call Rastafari a coconut movement, you'll be correct because we use coconut to do every single thing. So, I'm going to take you to coconut heaven. On the back of your hands, I'm going to give you a drop of coconut love. Yeah, man. So this is extra virgin coconut oil. We use this on everything that we have, our salads. Yes, we use coconut.
The Rastafari village is definitely not an all-inclusive resort, but persons can visit the wellness center for a moment of relaxation or stay overnight in one of the numerous cabins on location. There's also an organic vegetable and herb garden you can explore. But if after the tour you still crave even more one-on-one experiences of the Rastafarian way of life, then the monthly Iritz concert is all you need.
And we live for the plans to be free, and we build our own society.
We started Iritz in January 2018. And, you know, as a group of Rastafari people who are here, we had always been planning, you know, to say that we must see how culture can cure. A lot of the musicians from Montego Bay, they always have to migrate to go somewhere else. And there are just so much traditions that are dying. And along with all of these things that are dying, we think that we could facilitate them under one umbrella. So Iritz became that umbrella of wellness. It became that umbrella for food. And it became a space where music and of course everything else to do with culture.
The event, which is held on the last Sunday of each month at 1 o'clock, never fails to bring out some of the best talents you can find.
There in the cover of the darkness we watch and wait. You knew exactly what to say, 'cause you've been caught before.
I tell you, we just can't take no more.
If you're looking for the perfect opportunity to learn about the Rastafari community, indulge in its way of life, and become one with their culture, you know where to go.
morning, Paula.
Hi, Delary. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Tell me, what are your morning rituals?
Well, my personal devotion or prayers with the family and coffee.
In one sentence, tell us what you do.
Well, as the Commissioner of Revenue Appeals for the Division of the Ministry of Finance, I lead a team that is mandated by law to provide appeals mechanism for taxpayers to settle disputes that may arise from time to time between them and revenue commissioners.
What was the most difficult decision for you this week, and why was it difficult?
Well, this week I had to make a people management decision that did not sit well with the rest of the team. It was difficult because it appears as if the decision was causing some people to get what they desire, which undeservedly so, but it was the right decision for the rest of the team. It was in the best interest of the team. Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning, Dr. Juma.
Any messages for me?
Currently.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Has anyone or anything made you feel inspired lately?
Yes, I firmly believe I work with the best team. Their attitudinal response to the corporate vision is just inspiring. And the way they responded, particularly over the last quarter of the last fiscal year, to get us over the proverbial line was just inspiring.
What would you like your legacy to be in the public sector?
I learned early in my life that I'm limited by what I think and believe about myself. And so with that knowledge, I have vowed to always keep an open mind and to push the boundaries. I've led my team that way, and my legacy will be leaving persons behind who are that open-minded and always ready to test the orthodoxy.
Where's the most interesting place your work has taken you?
That would have to be India. I visited India in 2000, where I learned about customs valuation. It was a very thrilling experience. I loved the food and the culture and just the atmosphere there. I would love to revisit that place one day.
And before we go, can you recommend one book you think everyone should read?
One book would be difficult, and so I have two. For your spiritual life, The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren, and for your professional life, The Forgotten Half of Change by Luke de Berbandere.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you too, and you too.
While today's show ends here, we want you to continue standing up and advocating for developments in our country and around the world. More learning continues in tomorrow's Jamaica Magazine, but in the meantime, engage with us on our website at www.jis.gov.jm. There you'll find many more historical content, news items, and other articles. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.